Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Support the Geek Takeover, coming at you with another Daredevil Board Against Season 2, Episode 8 Raw Reaction Review. And holy fucking shit, guys. We may have had one of the top 10 craziest moments to happen in the MCU. We had true colors coming out. Dare I say, this is probably a top 3 Marvel TV show finale. This was so fucking awesome. I can't believe what the fuck we just saw. And, before we get started, I upgraded again some of my gear. I got me a mic, got me a ring light, a tripod. Your boy is moving up in the world. But, for real, let's jump into this because I really want to talk about this. For pretty much a vast majority, like the first half of this episode, it felt very different from other finales because it took place in the courtroom. Matt calls Fisk up to the stand. They have a little banter back and forth. Fisk is kind of mumbling to himself because he knows Matt can hear him, and he's threatening to, do you really want to go down this path, Matthew? Because I know your secrets. And Matt is, one step ahead of him. We knew from the set photos for season 3, thank you, Mike Coulter, we knew Matt was going to end up in jail. So we knew that means probably something was going to happen. I assumed, like most people, that Fisk was going to be the one to out him. Never in my 1,000 years would I've ever assumed that Matt was going to be the one to out himself and publicly display his abilities. What the fuck? But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I know a doctor that could erase everyone's mind. But no, like, holy shit. I can't believe it. And, that's going to play into something later when we're talking about the potentials for season 3. But, like, wow. And ultimately, because of that, Karen is found not guilty in the Fisk court, of all places. And then all hell breaks loose. The reason why is because we have a fake Bullseye, who I got excited for at first. It's like, oh shit, there's my boy Dex. Just to find out he was a fake. But wait, then my boy Dex shows up, murks all of them task force punks, and he takes a shot at Fisk. He misses, but he hits Buck, and because of that, the courthouse kind of goes into lockdown, and it goes uphill as far as entertainment, but downhill for everybody in that courtroom. Presumably, I think Buck probably died. I'm just going to flat out say that right now, because the more I think about it, we have not seen him in set photos yet for season 3, just like with Daniel. And that was a pretty gnarly shot, so I'm going to assume that Buck is dead, which is kind of sad, because I really enjoyed his character, but, I could be wrong. Anyways, after Bullseye shoots that, we don't really see him until the end. In the courtroom, Fisk and his lackeys lock themselves in the actual courtroom, and Matt, Karen, Jessica, who shows up, the senator or governor, whoever she is, I think it's the senator, and the other attorney, I don't remember her name. When I'm editing this, I'm going to put her name somewhere down here. They go off on their own little side adventure. And as this is going on, Fisk displays one message to the people of New York saying, basically trying to get them to rally behind Fisk. But at the same time, our girl, BB, comes in with a block by James kind of insanity. She reveals herself as the fake Kingpin. She is telling people of New York, don't listen to his bullshit. He's killed our family. He's killed our friends. And we have New York. We got the Vigilantes, Daredevil crew, and all those citizens versus the task force. They storm the courthouse. We have White Tiger in a kind of costume. We have Nat Cole, I think is his name, knock out Powell after he realizes he's being manipulated because he lied to him about Hector. the citizens storm the courthouse. We have some pretty cool action sequences with Jessica and Matt in a hallway with White Tiger. It's Daredevil. Of course there's going to be a fucking hallway fight. But it was not the best hallway fight of the episode because Fisk snaps, I think is the best way to put it. He does not give a fuck anymore. This man told them to open up the court doors and he put belt to ass to every fucking person. I saw him break skulls, KO people into a bench, break their spine across a column. Again, where did he get this super strength from? What the fuck is going on? Like, oh my god. He fucking destroys all of them. And he's wearing a nice white suit and is just being covered in blood. Meanwhile, it ultimately culminates with Matt and his people are on the bottom floor. Fisk is up on top of a pedestal, not really a pedestal, but on top of the stairs. I feel like that's a really big symbolism of Fisk thinking that he is untouchable, that he is on this godlike level almost, versus Matt, who is for the people, with the people, stuff like that. And the people, Matt, all the citizens, they decide to do probably the most logical thing you could do in this moment, which is bum rush Fisk, which kind of worked, but kind of didn't work. Oh, also Jessica Jones is back, by the way. Oh yeah, I did say Jessica. Sorry, I'm like, this episode was just awesome. I completely glossed over that. Ultimately, Matt stops them from beating the shit out of Fisk. He takes off his helmet, once again just showing to the world that he's Daredevil. He tells Fisk take the Attorney General's deal, which was leave New York, never come back, and we froze in all your assets, which I'm going to get to that in a second. Ultimately, Fisk agrees. They have a moment, which was some phenomenal dialogue. And that kind of pretty much concludes the episode. And then we start getting raps for everybody. So let's start with the rap for Jessica and Luke. With Jessica. We see her in an office playing with her daughter, and then we hear... That sounds like knocking. That is knocking. We hear footsteps. And sweet motherfucking Christmas, if it ain't Luke Cage, all dressed in a suit, man. And you know what? He's a family man. He loves his daughter. He seems like whatever happened, which I hope we get to learn about in season 3 of Daredevil, he did not want to do it. And Jessica asked him if he's done, and he says yes. He heard Charles hired somebody else. They embrace. They have a moment. It was sweet. Honestly, I was kind of hoping that Danny was going to show up too, but you know what? We'll get him in season 3. But that was awesome. I was hoping for a Defender cameo, and I'm glad we got it. Then we move on to Charles. Obviously Luke said he got a new man. That new man is Bullseye. Hopefully what this means for Dex is, 1, I really, really hope we get a Bullseye special. But also 2, if Charles is working under Val, again, I'm pushing this agenda. Get Bullseye in the Thunderbolts. Let's do it. That's it for them. Fisk, they said they've frozen his assets. But this man is still dressed classy as fuck on a beach, which, by the way, that was probably the worst shot in the entire episode because it looked... I hope it was on the actual beach, but like the background just looked so digital, like it was on a volume almost. Did not like it. But he's basically in paradise, which I think is symbolic for his character. I don't know how it's symbolic, but it is. It's like that Dexter meme. I don't know how, but I know it is. Ultimately, we know from the set photos he's going to end up coming back to New York as a hobo in the nicest way possible. Maybe him on the beach was all a dream, and he's actually a hobo in the streets of New York. We have Heather. She is finally donning the Muse mask, and when she looks in the mirror, instead of seeing Muse, she sees herself. And I think that is going back to her comments in her book about the mask is the true self, and their everyday life is their persona, just like basically like how Batman and Bruce Wayne is and whatnot. Obviously, we're going to get her as Lady Muse in season 3. Um, BB is now working in the bullpen. The only reason why I bring that up is because I think it's so awesome that we got to see a little newspaper clipping in the background that says the Battle of New York, because obviously when this was on Netflix, they couldn't talk about that, but now we can because it's canon. And then we end the episode with Matt ultimately getting arrested. I don't really know why, if Fisk is gone. I mean, I get it because he has attempted murder charges, he has assault charges, this and this and that. I don't really get it. But he ends in prison, he's smiling, and scene. So before I talk about what I think is going to happen, what I thought was going to happen, flat out the rating. This episode to me was a 10 out of 10. I love this episode. It was by far my favorite. As a season as a whole, I think I'm very confident giving it a 9.5 out of 10. Great season, great series. Hopefully season 3 comes out next year in March, so that way it's also around my birthday. And what I thought was going to happen ultimately was I figured no matter how Matt's identity gets taken out there, he was going to actively show that he's Daredevil. And I assumed that Danny was going to come in, take the mantle of Daredevil, and be like, oh, no, look, hey, Matt's in prison, but we still got Daredevil. He can't be Daredevil. So clearly that's not the case. So I wonder what that means for Matt and his identity. I'm going to take these off. Does this mean he's going to just pull an Oliver Queen and Arrow and just live a double life? Everybody knows he's Daredevil, but he's also a lawyer. I don't know. Like with the set photos, we don't really have much to go off of. Like I said, we haven't seen Buck in the set photos, so I can assume he's dead. We haven't seen Matt in any set photos, so I assume he's probably going to be in prison most of these series. We haven't seen the Defenders except for one photo, so I'm wondering what's going on with that. But the question on everybody's mind: is Matt in the same prison that Peter's goes into in Brand New Day? Where's Punisher? We have his special next week. Where's Elektra? Why is Gamora? These are hard-hitting questions that I'm going to ask you guys in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode, this finale, this season. What is your rating? What caught you guys off guard? What are you expecting for season 3? If you like this video, please make sure to show the support by hitting that thumbs up and subscribing for more content. And until next week, when it's time for the Punisher special, this has been the Geek Takeover, signing off.